Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning and something clicks. Not motivation, not a new hack, but something deeper, an instinct. You get out of bed, and instead of reaching for your phone or dragging yourself toward another average day, you feel it. The pull of something ancient, precise, and powerful. Effort without negotiation. You lift yourself into discomfort not because you feel like it, but because you've somehow unlocked the inner code that makes discipline natural, pain meaningful, and effort inevitable. What if I told you that code exists and it's not mystical? It's embedded in your biology, hidden in your brain, and it's the reason why some people can endure the impossible while others crumble under simplicity. In this video, we're going to explore that hidden code, the actual neural logic behind why some people show up every day, rain or shine, and others abandon their dreams at the first sign of resistance. But this isn't just a science video. This is a philosophical journey into the architecture of effort itself. Because effort isn't just what we do, it's what we are when we're fully alive. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the language your brain uses to test you. And discipline isn't a choice, it's a relationship with your future self. So why do we resist it? Why do we treat pain like punishment and effort like a burden? Maybe the better question is, what does your brain know about discipline that you've forgotten? Let's start with something most people never consider. Your brain doesn't care about your comfort. It cares about your survival. And not just biological survival, identity survival. This means every time you try to change, whether it's waking up earlier, pushing through a workout, writing that difficult paragraph, your brain goes into defense mode. Why? Because effort equals energy expenditure. And energy, evolutionarily, is a threat. Your brain has one job: predict and preserve. It doesn't care about your potential. It cares about conserving fuel. That's why you hesitate. That's why you procrastinate. That's why your mind whispers, do it later. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is running a code, one that was never meant for the modern world. But here's the profound twist. The same brain that resists effort is also wired to reward it. Deep inside your brain, in a system older than language, lies the dopaminergic pathway. It's what drives desire, motivation, and focus. And guess what? This system doesn't just reward pleasure. It rewards pursuit. Effort itself, when perceived the right way, becomes pleasurable. That's the secret. The brain gives you dopamine not just when you win, but when you struggle towards something meaningful. The pain of effort, when interpreted as progress, becomes its own fuel. So the question becomes, how do you convince your brain that pain is progress, not punishment? This is where philosophy and neuroscience collide. Ancient Stoics like Epictetus taught that pain is an invitation, not an obstacle. Zen monks sit in stillness for hours, not because it's comfortable, but because they understand that discomfort reveals truth. Meanwhile, neuroscience confirms what they intuited too. 0000 years ago. When you voluntarily embrace effort, when you choose the hard thing, your brain rewires itself. Neuroplasticity kicks in, new circuits form, and suddenly, what was once unbearable becomes automatic. The brain adapts to the demands you place on it, but only if those demands are consistent and chosen. So let's ask something dangerous. What if every excuse you've made in the last year wasn't yours, but your brain's outdated programming trying to protect you from growth? What if every time you gave up, it wasn't because you didn't understand how to partner with your own biology? That's the hidden code. You don't fight your brain to become disciplined. You train it. You recondition it to see effort as alignment, pain as signal, and discipline as identity reinforcement. This isn't about motivation. It's about meaningful repetition. When you repeat an act of effort with a clear purpose, your brain begins to associate struggle with reward. And that's the turning point. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people running up a hill. One is doing it because they hate their body. The other is doing it because they see themselves as a warrior in training. Same hill, same pain, but one brain interprets it as punishment, the other as purpose. Which one will keep going? Which one will come back tomorrow? Neuroscience shows us that meaning determines the chemical response. Pain, filtered through purpose, becomes pleasure. That's why people who have a strong identity tied to discipline, athletes, monks, elite performers, don't need to be forced. Their brains have been trained to enjoy the very thing others run from. So how do we train our brain to run toward effort and pain and not away from it? It starts with framing. Every time you choose discomfort on purpose, tell your brain, this is who I am. Not I have to, but I get to. Not this hurts, but this is the price of becoming. These aren't affirmations, they're permissions. You're teaching your brain to associate effort with identity, not fear. And when that connection locks in, something incredible happens. Your baseline changes. What used to feel hard now feels normal. What used to feel impossible now feels necessary. You've upgraded your brain's code. And let's go deeper, because this is more than just habit, it's existence. Every meaningful life is built on a paradox. The more pain you embrace, the more peace you unlock. The more effort you exert, the more energy you generate. This isn't just poetic, it's biological. Hormesis, a scientific principle, shows us that exposing the body to stress in small, controlled doses, whether it's heat, cold, hunger, or effort, strengthens the system. We are literally wired to grow through strain. So when we avoid effort, we're rejecting the very process that makes us powerful. Ask yourself, what have you been avoiding that was actually your next evolution in disguise? Now think about this. The most disciplined people you know aren't superhuman. They're just deeply aligned. Their identity, their behavior, and their beliefs are running the same code. That alignment creates coherence, and coherence creates energy. Most people are tired not because they work too hard, but because they live in contradiction. They say they want to be great, but act like they're average. They dream of mastery, but live in distraction. That gap between who you say you are and how you actually live, that's what drains you. Discipline closes that gap. It makes you whole. So the next time you face resistance, the next time the voice in your head says skip the workout, sleep in, take the easy way, don't see it as failure. See it as a test of code. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you. It's asking you, who are you becoming? And your answer isn't in your thoughts, it's in your actions. That's the hidden brain code behind effort, pain, and discipline. It's not about fighting your biology. It's about upgrading your interpretation. And when you do, you don't just perform better. You become someone else entirely. You've probably been told to just stay disciplined, build habits, or push through, as though willpower is some infinite, rechargeable battery. But let's be honest, willpower isn't sustainable. Identity is. The truth most people never hear is this: every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you believe you are. And your brain is always listening. It doesn't care what you say, it watches what you do. So every time you sit down when you said you'd stand, every time you scroll instead of study, Every time you hit snooze after promising yourself growth, you're not just making a decision, you're casting a vote for your identity. That's the identity loop. Behavior shapes belief, and belief shapes behavior. Until one day you don't have to try anymore, because you've become the person who does it by default. This is how the hidden brain code works. Your brain is an adaptation machine. It doesn't care what's right or wrong. It simply chases what's repeated. Repetition is the language of the brain. That's why identity isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily construction. Every disciplined act reinforces the neural pathways of self-respect. Every time you resist the easy way, your brain releases a signal, not just of pain, but of progress. And over time, that signal becomes a rhythm becomes a pattern, and a pattern becomes your personality. You don't need motivation when the identity loop is locked in. You simply act in alignment with who you are becoming, and every action strengthens that reality. But here's the philosophical catch. The identity loop works both ways. Just like effort reinforces strength, avoidance reinforces weakness. The more you skip, the more you become a skipper. The more you surrender to comfort, the more your brain associates comfort with safety and pain with danger. And the more that happens, the smaller your world becomes. Until one day you're not avoiding discomfort, you're avoiding life. This is why small decisions aren't small. They're sacred. The moment you decide to do the hard thing, even when no one's watching, you're not just training your brain, you're defining your soul. Ask yourself, what identity are your actions feeding today? Who are you becoming in the shadows, when it's just you and your choices? This is why so many people feel stuck. They're not weak. They're not lazy. They're just looping the wrong identity. They want to be disciplined, but their daily rituals still reward avoidance. They want to feel powerful, but their choices keep reinforcing powerlessness. And the brain, being faithful to its programming, keeps adapting to that loop. That's why change is so hard. It's not just about doing something different. It's about becoming someone new. And that requires breaking the loop consciously, deliberately, and repeatedly. You have to disrupt the pattern. You have to act like the person you want to be, even when it feels fake. Because eventually, it won't. Eventually, your brain will catch up. That's its job, to become whatever you feed it. So the question is, what are you feeding your brain? Every second, every scroll, every skipped rep, every delayed dream, it's a signal. And every moment of effort, every moment you override the impulse to quit, is also a signal. The brain doesn't judge, it just builds. You are the architect, you are the coder, and the keyboard is your behavior. The identity loop isn't magic, it's mechanics. But once you understand it, you can harness it. And when you do, effort becomes automatic, pain becomes data, discipline becomes your default. Not because you're forcing it, but because you finally created a brain that serves the identity you chose. Let's get brutally honest. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they depend on emotion to drive execution. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel motivated. They wait to feel confident. But your brain isn't built to give you those feelings on command. Motivation is a chemical accident. Discipline is a system. The final upgrade to mastering effort, pain, and discipline is this. You must engineer your life so that discipline is easier to follow than to break. Not psychologically, structurally. That means building systems around your identity that reduce decision fatigue, eliminate temptations, and automate your highest values into your daily environment. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the strength of your systems.
The ancient philosophers knew this long before science confirmed it. Aristotle believed that excellence isn't an act, but a habit. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that if something is in your control, act on it immediately, without delay, without debate. Today, we translate that wisdom into neuroscience. Every time you remove friction from a good behavior or add friction to a bad one, you're shaping the brain's reward architecture. For example, if you want to write every morning, leaving your laptop open on your desk the night before increases the chances you'll follow through. If you want to stop scrolling late at night, charge your phone in another room. These aren't tricks, they're neural preconditions, rituals that tell your brain, this is who we are now.
And here's where the magic happens. Once those systems are in place and you repeat them consistently, your brain begins to automate the behavior. The prefrontal cortex, which handles willpower and decisions, starts off active. But over time, the basal ganglia, your habit engine, takes over. That's when discipline becomes effortless. You don't try, you are. You become a person who trains daily without needing to negotiate. A person who does hard things without needing applause. A person who sees pain and thinks, this is the price of greatness. And when you reach that level, something inside you shifts. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You stop fantasizing about an easier life because you've built a brain that thrives in the difficult one. But let's take it further. Systems aren't just about routines. They're about meaningful constraints. Discipline, paradoxically, is freedom. When you constrain your options, when you decide in advance what you will and won't do, you free your mind from the chaos of constant decision-making. You become a person of principle, and principles don't bend for moods. They don't pause for convenience. They hold. So if you say, I train at 6 a.m., that's not a suggestion, it's a law in your system. And laws don't need feelings to be enforced. They just are. This is how you build an unstoppable discipline system. You stop relying on will, and you start building walls of commitment around your highest values. So here's the question that matters most right now. What systems could you build today that would make your future self unrecognizably powerful? Not someday, not when you feel ready, now. Because that's the final truth, the hidden code behind effort. Pain and discipline isn't hidden at all. It's written in every choice you make, every day. The question is, are you decoding it or ignoring it? Are you hacking your brain or letting it run on outdated software? The final upgrade isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter, deeper, and truer, with a mind that serves the mission and a soul that refuses to break.